So I ordered Postmates when I got home, and I'm scrolling through. You know how, like, people often joke about doing this, but we all do this in real life. It's okay, let's watch something on Netflix. What do you want to watch? I don't know what I want to watch. And you just spend forever blading through the pages on Netflix.
That's part of the Netflix experience.
I did, and you end up, sometimes that's what you did that night, and you never actually watched anything. I did that with Postmates, where I'm just looking through all of these food. Just these restaurants being like, do I want this? Oh, this looks good. Or this looks good. But I don't really want anything. But I'm hungry and I want something that's from here. So I bladed through Postmates, and I settled on an old classic KFC. So I ordered this KFC. KFC's not too far away from my house. I could have driven, but social distancing. I'm also lazy. And I also came home from work.
I was going to say, like, you Postmate a lot, like, outside of pandemics or not.
Yeah.
So.
But it's my excuse. It's my excuse. All right? It's my excuse. So I ordered a meal, a box, 3-piece chicken, and you get to specify through a couple options, but I do 2 wings and a drum, because I like the drum meat better than the breast meat from KFC. It's a little dry. I like it better from the drum and the wing. Do that. It comes with a biscuit. I did the mashed potatoes with no gravy, because I don't like gravy. Potato wedges. And if I didn't mention the biscuit, it comes with a biscuit. All right. I do that. It's like $11 or something. It's pricey, but I'm like, whatever. I order it. And I'm slightly cursed with this food delivery things. Like, sometimes people just get me something completely different than what I ordered, or like it's super late, or blah, blah, blah. There's always usually issues.
It closed.
Yeah, I remember when that happened on me. Like, I waited an hour, and I was like, oh yeah, they just closed. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? They just closed. You were working on this an hour ago. Postmates added a thing due to the social distancing where they'll just leave it at your door. That's one of the options. You say, leave this at my door. Don't make me come get it from you. So this guy does it. I had him set it to leave it at my door. I watch him drive away because I'm like, do I want to have him see me open up my door and pick up the food? That's awkward. He leaves. I open up the door and I look down and I'm like, there are 2 Cokes in this drink tray. That's weird.
Pick up the thing. I don't get how, like, they mess it up that often.
And I open up and I look through, and there are 2 boxes in there. I'm like, hold on. Did I accidentally order 2 of the same meal? I look on my phone. No, only the one. Okay. I open up the boxes. So I described all the items that I get in the thing, right? A Coke, 3 pieces of chicken, a biscuit, mashed potatoes, fries, or potato wedges, whatever you want to call it. Combined, from these 2 boxes, I get 2 biscuits, 1 potato wedge, 1 mashed potato with gravy, 1 without gravy, and 5 pieces of chicken. 3 of them are breast meat, which I specified that I didn't want.
That's making me feel sick just thinking about it.
I got 1 drum, 1 wing, 3 breast meat, and then this hodgepodge of other things. So I'm like, all right, potatoes with gravy, trash. Not eating that, which is fine. I wasn't expecting it. 2 Cokes, do I have any IVs left in my closet? Let's just pump them straight into my veins, baby. Let's go. 2 Cokes, awesome. 1 thing of fries, a bit disappointed I didn't get more fries, but I never finished them, so I guess it's fine. The chicken, awesome. And of course I'm eating this, and I say this all the time when I'm eating KFC, sometimes to myself. This time I said it to my cat, and earlier today I said it to you. KFC is always an amazing choice until you are halfway through it and it's disgusting and you decide I need to poop right now. I never actually finished any of this food. I ate some of the mashed potatoes with no gravy. I ate a few fries. I ate the 2 non-breast meat chickens and 1 of the breast meat.
And potatoes, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do the fries.
I don't like their corn, and I don't like coleslaw. There's not really anything else to get.
I would just ask for more mash.
Mashed potatoes are good. They're not salty enough. And the biscuits were...
So I got to add that butter. That salted butter does the trick.
But you put butter in mashed potatoes?
You're supposed to. Usually.
Are you talking about when you're making mashed potatoes or when you're adding it to your mashed potatoes on your
I've
plate?
always added... Well, most instant one might already have it in it. But yeah, you should add like salted butter. That's why it tastes salty most of the time.
But you didn't
It's
answer when
melted.
you're making it or when it's on your plate.
I want to say when it's on my
Because when
plate.
you're making it, yes, you should put butter in your mashed potatoes when you're making.
I think
Everyone
when I granted I haven't had mashed potatoes in a hot second.
See,
I want to
used
say
be-
I add butter. I want to say I add butter.
back
If
when I was
it's
living
not salty
with my
enough.
parents as a child, I used to put salt on everything, and then I found out like, hey, family cholesterol issues or whatever, like watch out for that. I just stopped putting salt on like anything, and I've slowly come back around. But like mashed potatoes and steak are like the only two things I put salt on, really. Besides fries, if there's none on. Like, I'm not going to take McDonald's French fries and put salt on it. That's suicide, literally suicide. You know what I mean? But if it's like, frozen French fries, you're making them in the oven, I'll throw some salt on that. But
I can't eat fries like out of the oven. Like I'll get the freezer bag of fries, and every time I hate it. Like I'll eat 4, and I'm like, no, this isn't like.
Weird.
It has to be like fried. Like I'll eat fast food fries all day, or like even like a nicer restaurant
really, all day,
all day. But
3 meals,
3 meals,
damn,
40 pounds.
Someone's
fries.
getting his car. Someone's better running tomorrow.
All the carbs I eat, it doesn't. I don't know where it goes, except probably my arteries. That one day
Comes
will
out my
stop.
ass.
I'm gonna die one day. Like at 40, it's just gonna happen.
Oh,
And then
15 years away from
you'll have
that.
all these podcasts to listen to
yeah.
to remember me by.
See, like I don't know. Like it's weird to me. They're like, I don't like oven fries, but
Like I have to
Just
put
like-
a lot of salt on it for me to even like enjoy it.
Oh,
Like
really?
they're dry. I don't know. There's something. I like that deep fried.
Fucking dip them in ketchup, boy.
It's the southern in me.
Southern. Apparently, there is I think it's a Korean barbecue place. It's a chain, though, in our area called Bonchon. I mentioned it before as a place to get fried chicken that we should do sometime. But
I never
apparently
had
they
Korean food. I don't think.
apparently this place double fries their fried chicken.
How?
Like they'll fry it once and then just put it back in.
I imagine it's just
guess.
crunch, which I wouldn't be mad.
I'm not mad. It depends. 'Cause the KFC I had today, lots of crunch, but there was no substance to that. I didn't like the crunch.
I'd rather
I didn't
have
like the skin
too
this
much
time.
crunch though than not enough crunch.
I don't know. Maybe this is one of the reasons why I didn't finish any of that chicken. But I just like, no, all I'm really eating right now is just crunchy skin, and I kind of want some meat in me.
I'm just surprised you got KFC considering the next coming months. Well, I don't know with coronavirus. Nothing. I don't know what the next couple months even looks like at this point. I don't know if we'll make it to, like, we all could be dead in like 2 weeks. What if it evolves? That's what I've thought about. Like, who's to say it doesn't evolve?
It's learned how to pick up a gun.
That'd be scary. I don't even want to think about that. It's crazy because, like, yeah, you always see movies about pandemics, and usually it's zombies or like the disease makes you kill yourself or something like that. You know, some crazy thing, and it's like it's still scary. Like without all that, like if you put zombies into that, then yeah, and it's nightmare. It's a nightmare, but it already is scary, low key. But we're younger. But I'm more concerned about like my grandparents, if anything.
Yeah. My whole family knows to stay the hell inside. I still obviously go to work. And it seems like it's all good there for the most part. People aren't really trying to think about it. We are keeping a good distance away from one another. So, I just,
This is why we need android bodies that like are just always at work.
Oh, what was that movie called? Surrogate? Where
I don't know.
People
I don't
did
think I've heard
stay
that.
at home and they had like hot android versions that they linked their brain to remotely and they could just be
I've always
that.
wanted to be a hot android. 100%.
I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis was the lead. No, I'm not sure.
Because there's that Bruce Willis movie from like the late 90s where
Hey Siri, show me the actors in the film Surrogate.
I don't think it was called Surrogate though.
Which one?
Which one?
Damn.
Hey, maybe that's a movie series we
all
got to
of
get
these
into.
are way too early. I'm Googling this.
There's that Bruce Willis movie in the late 90s where it's kind of like a Total Recall thing going on. Like has that aesthetic. And there's this girl that he has to protect or something like that. And I don't think she's human.
Yes, it's called Surrogates, and it stars Bruce Willis.
When did that come out?
And Surrogates is a 2009 American science fiction action film based
later.
off the 2005 to 2006 comic book series called The Surrogates. It stars Bruce Willis as Tom Greer, an FBI agent who blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
I see. See, I'm thinking of The Fifth Element. I thought that's what you were talking about.
No.
Surrogates, man. We can add it to our list.
Bruce Willis, man. I want him on my list. Just in general. It had a budget of $80 million and a box office of $122 million. If this was a Marvel movie, it's something they would want to erase from history based off that. Welcome to the 26th inaugural episode of the Sonic Movie Show, a show that's been running for 12 minutes. My name is Ethan. With me is Devin.
What quote should I go with? Let's go with this one. Come on, step it up.
It's Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
You're correct. Ding,
Yes,
ding, ding.
sir.
I think it's the first time you got it.
It's hilarious that and the other Super Smash Brothers Brawl taunt line he says, "You're too slow."
Yeah,
and
that's
the only game he says that in. But that's like a catchphrase for the character that people say. It's weird that but that's the power of Smash Brothers.
Was I pretty close though with my how I said it?
Yes.
So I just guessed. I don't think I never probably heard. Maybe I heard it once, but
Come on, step it up.
Come on, step it up.
Yeah.
Maybe I have hey, Sonic movies. If you ever make a sequel and can't get an actor for some reason,
the one thing
voice
I
actor.
did want them to reference, which would have been a super deep cut, because remember was before we saw the movie, we knew that there was going to be a Super Smash Brothers reference, and we learned it was a pose from his Super Smash Brothers Ultimate key art that he makes briefly. Right. I was hoping deep down it was this reference. It was referencing Super Smash Brothers Brawl. So when you're playing and you're a bunch of characters and you're beating each other up, one of you wins, right? The victory screen shows the winning character, in a pose, and then all the other characters are on a lower third clapping, congrats, you win. Each character has a few different poses, and maybe sometimes they'll say something like Snake will say I'm going back to base or whatever. One of Sonic's poses is that he twirls around and whips out a Chaos Emerald, and he holds it between his index finger and his thumb. But Sonic is moving a little bit, kind of swaying a little bit, but the Chaos Emerald is statically in place. So you could tell he's not holding it at all. It's just there while he's moving. It's.
Has that bothered you?
It did bother me at the time. I know
it still
Super
bother
Smash
you?
Brothers Ultimate actually references that. It does the exact same thing, but they have the emerald itself move too, but at a different rate. And I was hoping that was I just wanted that. I don't know. But yeah, so this is the Sonic Movie Show. It's a podcast that we do every Sunday on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, as well as YouTube, where we talk about Sonic news, Sonic movie news, and just kind of film and TV stuff. So it's a weird episode today.
It's going to be a couple weird episodes for the next couple of weeks, probably.
For the next couple evers.
Who knows? The world can end, and this is it. You're seeing the human consciousness crumble.
Exactly. When
in your
society
ears.
breaks down in a world of Uber and Postmates and people not getting paid for these jobs, but now they're the most necessary jobs in existence.
When Elon Musk, flies to safety to the moon.
After
he's listening. Maybe he's
after
listening
fleeing
to this. I
us
don't know.
because he refuses to make ventilators until quote unquote we need them, but I think we need them now. In a world where we praise capitalism, but we're actively praising the current things that are actually socialism, and the things we like about capitalism are actually the programs we put in place in spite of capitalism that work against capitalism and are actually socialism.
I hate when these guys talk politics.
Bernie Sanders, 2020. I got hairy legs.
Sonic 2020.
It's supposed to be a great year for Sonic, but we haven't had any news.
This is not a great year in general, but
no. But they said that like I think multiple times. Sega said multiple times that 2020 is going to be a great year for Sonic. Obviously the movie, right? But like it's been a while. It's been what, 3 years since Sonic Forces? It feels like it was yesterday, and I say this in a
3
bad
years,
way.
dude. We were just sitting.
That was 2017.
We were sitting in your basement, dog,
Yeah.
eating ice cream
In New York. Yeah. We played that in one sitting. That's how freaking short that game was. So I expect another mainline Sonic game. I think about it like this. This is weird. So Sonic 2006 comes out. Terrible game, right? It comes on an Xbox 360 first, and then comes to PS3. They had to do some work. Terrible, right? 2008 rolls around. They completely reinvent how they make these Sonic games. Brand new engine called the Hedgehog engine, meant so that they can render light on levels that are miles long in one day. So it helps speed up the development. Really important.
Sounds cool.
Yep, really good for Sonic Unleashed. Comes out in 2008. 2010, I believe,
good year.
was Sonic Colors, mainline Sonic game. 2011, all right. Sonic Generations,
all right, feeling
mainline
good.
Sonic game, great game. All three of those games are great. I like Unleashed a lot more than other people. 2000, I think, 14 or 13, one of the two, is Sonic Lost World on Wii U. It's a bad game.
I don't think I've ever heard that. And I thought I was a Sonic
You've
fan.
seen it. You've seen it.
They've all blurred. They all blurred in my head.
This is the one where they'd been iterating on the same formula for like 3D Sonic for a while with Unleashed, then Colors and Generations, and then they decided, you know what, we're just going to completely restart over, and it's going to be weird, and it's going to be copying Mario Galaxy. And...
I know the general trends. I just don't know the titles, but it's themes that matter in history.
And then Sonic Forces in 2017, and then nothing since. They've been getting further and further apart. Each generation has added time to the length of making a video game, especially for Japanese companies that are used to having small amount of people. They are not used to needing millions and millions and millions of dollars on a budget because they're used to selling to a Japanese audience that is not millions and millions, is hundreds of thousands to maybe 1.5 million. So they can't really justify billions of dollars. It's harder for them to make video games in 4K, and the jump to HD legitimately crippled Nintendo. They've said that they were not ready for that. So Sonic games have been taking longer to make, but I think we should be getting an announcement on a new Sonic game, and I really freaking hope that they learn some lessons. They're like legitimately, we played Sonic Forces, and like I'm very forgiving about Sonic.
I think we both. Yeah, I think we are.
We both are. You haven't experienced as many things as I have. I've always been like, okay, let me just find the thing in this that I love. No one liked the Werehog stages in Sonic Unleashed. So legitimately, when I think back upon that game, I don't even consider those a part of the game. I just look at the other things. And so, yes, that actually makes me think the game is like a 9 out of 10 when it's not.
You just deny it. Just deny it that part ever existed.
I found the things in that game that I like. Sonic Colors, there's a few things in that game I like. Sonic Generations, whatever. Even Sonic Adventure 2, which I know you played. I liked the Sonic and Shadow levels. You're always finding these things, but they're not perfect anyway, you know. Sonic Forces had legitimately nothing I found redeemable at all. And I thought the one
everything was
standby
pretty bad.
Was every Sonic game has great music. Except Forces. I struggled to find songs in there that I actually liked. It's all terrible.
But you didn't enjoy the cosmetics in that game?
Well, I will say this though. The one I think the game was a total failure. But I think it did one thing that's good for the franchise. You know, Sonic has a lot of different types of fans. There are fans of him in different ways, right? There are people that are like us that did not play the original games a lot when they came out. We kind of jumped in during the 3D era. We knew. To
be fair,
them.
we
touched them a little bit. We're younger. We're 25. We're 25. We were born in 1995. Sonic was 4 years old when we were. He's older than us. He's 29 years old.
He had a job before we did. All right.
Yeah, exactly. But, obviously, but I went back and I played all the Mario games as a kid, as an actual child. I played, NES games, but I never played Genesis like that. So I never had that, and you obviously never did either.
I had a Sonic game on Genesis, but I was like 4. So
yeah, there are Sonic fans that are older than us that started from the beginning. There are Sonic fans that are younger than us. There are Sonic fans that in any one of these stages watch all the shows and read the comic books, and everyone has their different version of what they think Sonic is and should be. And I think what's great for the franchise is that Sonic Forces looked at the people that make their own characters and says, yes, we appreciate and you are valid. So at the very least, I think it did good for those people. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of the people that looked at Sonic Colors and Sonic Unleashed and like, wow, a game that's just Sonic and Tails and no one else. That's what I want. I don't really even want Knuckles. I know it's sacrilegious to say.
I have a Knuckles stuffed animal on one of my shelves in my living room. So when people
have a
come
red
over,
stuffed echidna.
When people come over, they're like, they see that,
where your loyalties
they know,
lie.
Yeah, they see where my loyalties lie. Exactly.
The Echidna tribe. Hey, man, they tried to murder Sonic.
To be fair, it was either him or Sonic, and I thought Knuckles would be goofier at Dave and Buster's, so
for sure,
I grabbed Knuckles instead.
For sure. But, again, I'm the Sonic fan that just wants a story about Sonic and Tails. Keep it simple. I want the levels to be really well thought out. I want a lot of levels, and I want a simple story. Stop Robotnik. That's it. Some people, they do want this epic, in quote, story about Robotnik or Eggman taking over the world, and all of Sonic's friends are in this game, and they're banding together, and Sonic's been tortured for 6 months in space. Remember that?
Yeah. They
never said, but I believe it should be canon that one kid's video on YouTube where he threw the stuffed animal in the dishwasher, or not the dishwasher, the washing machine dryer. Remember that?
Yeah,
it was a dryer, right?
Something
this
like
is
that.
The torture. I think that should be canon. Anyway,
I agree.
There are fans that want that, and I think they got that game, and they're the people that are somehow see. Okay, you played some of Sonic Forces with me. We played it back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But you played the entirety of Mario Odyssey yourself. Same year. Maybe a month apart. Which game is better, Devin? Just, you don't even need to answer. You know it's Mario. You're going to try to joke and say Sonic Forces. You're going to come up with something to say.
I was going to say the cosmetics, but the one thing Sonic
Mario
has
can
was
run
a
around
gamer
in his
shirt.
boxers.
They had a gamer shirt. I feel like that's more me, and they didn't have that in Mario. Unless there's an unlockable I don't have on Mario Odyssey. I don't know.
You acknowledge Mario Odyssey is a much better game.
Of course.
There are people, and they're these fans of that game that don't want to admit that they're different games, guys. They're trying to do different things, and yeah, they are trying to do different things, but come on, one game is well more thought out, has way more stuff in it. Everything feels meaningful. It doesn't really duplicate or repeat certain things ever. And there's Sonic that just rotates. Sonic Forces rotates between 3 types of gameplay that never really feel like they reach
the
their
first level is
potential.
fine, and just like most Sonic games I've played, the first level is fine to great, and then everything else, it's just a downhill spiral until just
I could maybe
trash.
Maybe sometime in the future for an episode, I'll pitch my Sonic game.
Oh, we should do a pitch.
Sonic
We should
game.
pitch Sonic games. Let's do it. Not now, but
because
in the future.
Well, then
filler
a little
episode.
hint on mine. The one thing that cripples Sonic games, and this is all Sonic games, even the originals, and even Sonic Mania, although Sonic Mania actually doesn't suffer this much. The one thing is difficulty. If these kinds of games are going to
Dark
have
Souls.
well, kind of. If these Sonic games are going to be adding unique mechanics and enemies and environments and all that every single level, unlike Mario, which just builds upon itself each time, you can't really have a difficulty curve because everything is being reintroduced every single level. So you just need them to be the same difficulty level, and just people get better at the game, then they get better at the game. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be that, because I was talking about Sonic Unleashed earlier. I'm trying to think how many levels there are for like regular Sonic, not the Werehog. I only played like the first half on repeat after I beat the game, because those were the ones I could beat without getting mad. You know what I mean? Those were the fun levels to me. Sonic should just be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should pitch our Sonic games. Maybe next episode if we still don't get to see Bloodshot. I guess, do we want to jump into our actual topic?
Before we do that, you're kind of forgetting about Team Sonic Racing, though.
I haven't touched that yet, and I'm a bad gamer. We bought that on Black Friday together.
Dude, I beat the story mode.
And I haven't even touched it.
I beat the entire game. That's saying something, all right?
You're a true Sonic fan, not me. I listened to the soundtrack on Spotify way more than you did, though. I'll tell you that. Is that actually, and that restored some of my faith, because Sonic Forces has a terrible soundtrack. There's maybe one song that's kind of redeemable, but I'm not going to lie, a remix I listened to on Spotify seems like it's more of the original version than what the original version is supposed to be. So that's bad. Sonic Team Racing, awesome soundtrack.
Do you want to talk about what we've been watching? I know it's kind of been a short week, so maybe it hasn't really changed. This one can be real short. We'll
all right.
5 minutes tops.
I watched Mission Impossible 2. Okay. Absolutely terrible movie. Probably the worst movie I've ever seen.
Has Metallica in it, right?
It ends with a Metallica song. It also has Limp Bizkit playing a version of the theme song.
Yes,
and it is
dude.
Weirdly weird. All of the music choices in this movie are terrible.
That's that time period, man.
Tom Cruise fights an evil Tom Cruise. Yes, this movie came out in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Made $500 million, which is crazy for a 2000 movie. Tom Cruise fights an evil version of himself, essentially, although it's never played up really all that great at all. Everyone hates and degrades the only woman in that movie, even Tom Cruise. There's even a line that
classic
says
2000s.
The villain, and granted, it is the villain saying this, but still, he says, like, women are like monkeys. They only let go of a branch when they've grabbed another one.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ, you know?
No.
And even I think not Tom Cruise. What's his name? That plays Odin in the Thor movies. Anthony Hopkins. He even says something about women, where he's like, Tom Cruise is like, she doesn't have any training though. He goes, she's a woman. She has all the training she needs to sleep with this guy.
Oh my God.
It's Anthony Hopkins. Tom Cruise fights this evil Tom Cruise dude, right? And the ending, before they fight to the death with their fists, but of course it does the classic thing where our hero has a weapon, bad guy doesn't. Bad guy says, fight me with honor. Hero throws the weapon away. Halfway through the fight, bad guy pulls out a weapon he's been hiding the whole time because he knows he's going to lose. It's that cliche, you know?
Yeah.
That I think even a Vin Diesel movie, one of the Fast and Furious movies, did that too.
Yeah, I think wasn't it The Rock?
Maybe.
Or was it Vin Diesel? I know there is one scene for sure, but go ahead.
Anyway, before they fight to the death with their fists or knives, they fight on motorcycles forever. Now, yes, I was tired. Yes, this was midnight when this part of the movie came on. I fell asleep 4 or 5 times. I woke up each time, and they're still on fucking motorcycles. I fell asleep 5 times, and they're still just going around on sand and shit.
Are you sure you didn't fall asleep and the movie was repeating and you just got back to the same
Remember in Furious 6 where the classic Vin Diesel jump happens, where he jumps a bridge,
of course,
because Letty, Michelle Rodriguez's character, needs to jump herself or otherwise she's gonna die, and Vin Diesel, they do the thing where they collide, right? And we know it's not realistic because in real life, they would collide and then fall straight down. Instead, he just overpowers her momentum and carries her straight through. Sorry, I clapped right there. He carries her straight through into a car as if it's a mattress. Well, here, before they fight to the death with fists, and they're on the motorcycles end with them playing chicken. They both jump into the air, and they're on flat ground, by the way. They jump into the air, collide into one another, and then fall straight down to a place that does not have the motorcycles. Where did they go? They're somewhere else now. It's like, and this movie was directed by John Woo. He should be making great films, great action films, and this movie was terrible. That's what I've been watching. I platinumed BioShock. I mentioned I played it yesterday. Platinumed it 2 days ago. Got all the DLC trophies.
I don't know how you
started
have time.
Recording.
I don't understand.
So with some of these games, remember in 2018 We were working on a project in January, and it was very stressful. And we had a deadline. And I somehow found the time in between all that to platinum all 3 of the Spyro games on PS4. I did them in literally 8 days total.
I'm literally like shaking my head in like
I did the first one in one day.
I don't understand. Like I don't. Are you following guides? Like you have like
No.
What?
With some of these games, and I love 3D platformers, Mario Odyssey. That's why I love Sonic, right? Some of these games like Mario Odyssey or those Spyro games or whatever, I just play them so fucking fast. And this sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not bragging. I have a lot of fun this way. From afar, it almost looks like I couldn't be enjoying it because I'm not stopping to take any time. I do sometimes, but I'm just always just go, 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 because it's just constant fun for me. It's just constant acceleration of fun. Maybe that's also why I like Sonic games, because he's just constantly going. But Spyro, I'm just like running all over the place, picking up all the gems, saving all the dragons, picking up eggs, and I'm getting trophies. I'm getting these trophies fast, and a day passes and I platinum it. I platinum BioShock. I looked at my psnprofiles.com thing. 8 days from not only just platinum plus the DLC trophies. And again, this was 8 days ago I started, and I just finished before.
I was going to say you're on drugs, but no, you are drugs. You are speed.
And I'm probably going to start BioShock 2, and it's going to fade off, and I'm going to stop.
I'm surprised we didn't. You like middle of this recording, like, oh yeah, I just platinum BioShock 2, and I've been like, whatever.
BioShock 2 is good. I never finished it, so I'm excited to get back into it. So that's all I've been doing. We play Apex Legends.
Yeah,
I don't know if that counts. There's no story that's presentable.
There is stories, but like I said, I think on stream yesterday, I don't pay attention.
But it's good though, just like Overwatch.
I don't really. I guess I don't care. Your way. But it's not like
they don't force it on you.
Yeah, so I don't really care about the backstory. I guess.
This character is, this character is an AI, and she can do this and this and this, or even it's just stuff like, oh yeah, this character is gay or something. Like it's just backstory stuff that if you want to dive in, you can, and it's cool. Yeah. By the way, because I guess we might as well talk story like movies or in video games, and we were just talking about Apex. I read a little blurb from the head writer of Apex, I guess, when they were working on Titanfall 2, and he decided he was going to expand on the lore, and he wrote out all of this lore, and he wrote out the lore for what would become Apex Legends, and he thought no one would ever really care in his own studio. People didn't care. Until they started working on the game.
They didn't care who I was. They didn't care who I was until I put on the mask.
Exactly. But he said, I wasn't sure if anyone was actually going to care. I was just doing this for fun, writing out. He wrote out Mirage, Pathfinder, and Bloodhound, I think were the first 3 characters he wrote for. They were his main people that he really wrote into. And I think you can kind of tell they're kind of the most unique. And then he said, then all of a sudden, when we're announcing this game, all of a sudden, all of our PR people are asking me, like, terms and how to say this and that. And they're asking me questions that they don't have the answers to in the lore. And, like, what are the pronouns of some of these characters, etc. So he was really excited about that. So, What have you been watching and playing? By the way, still update on our TV show season thing. I still have that first season of Avatar finished. Still waiting on this guy.
Oh, I did watch a couple episodes of that at 11:30 at night.
We'll save
so
thoughts,
I was a little
obviously,
tired
for the main episode.
Yeah,
but...
I was a little tired, but so I forgot the name. Apologies. I'll get back to you. I've only watched one episode. So I have Disney Plus, and I haven't really used it too much after the Jeff Goldblum show and Mandalorian. So I was on the National Geographic section, and I was like, you know what? I used to watch all those shows back in the day of like Lost Cities and whatnot. And hold up, I think I actually have the title. It's coming back to me now. Lost Cities with what's his name? Albert Lynn is on there. I guess it was filmed in 2019. Definitely shot for TV because there's like commercial breaks, like cuts. Obviously, there is none for Disney Plus. But I was watching
it wasn't a show made for Disney Plus.
No, it's a National Geographic thing. But I was watching it, and I'm like, I kind of needed this in my life. I didn't know I needed it, but now I know that I still like this shit. Of just like, so basically, he's like a he's kind of like a tech guy, but he does archaeology. I don't know his official title, like what his actual like degree or whatever it is. I'm sure he's something.
Now it's TV star, but
exactly. But he has like this cool like speaking of Apex Legends, like this tablet thing. Kind of looks like a bigger version of like.
Does it charge his ultimate fast?
Yes, kind of. But basically they can like do with these like things with drones, where like it does. So this is the first episode. They went to the Lost Templar place in Israel. Some like I'm losing all the names of the places because it's, of course, me being a dumb American doesn't remember any of like non-Western sounding things. But it's a place in Israel. They found this underground like gold hideaway path thing that would go from the one part of the city into the castle, but the castle's not there anymore. They have an idea of where it is, but they're trying to guess where the gold might have been stored. Anyways, they had drones go above the city, taking like 3D photos, and then he did this like laser tablet thing that like.
So was he like literally like Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog
yeah, kind of. He was like scanning. He was scanning like the surface area of the tunnel, and basically he mapped out where the tunnel was in relation to the city. So then they could be like, okay, if we follow this line of the tunnel,
we'll be
the gold
here.
Yeah, the gold would have probably been here. Then at the very end of the episode, they did like his scanner, another scanner thing that's probably worth like $100,000. Basically, he went to the site of where the castle used to be. He holds it up, and there's like a camera on it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's like almost like taking a photo or a video, but in the tablet, around the tablet, it has like CGI'd walls of where it would have been, like almost like a blueprint of what it would have looked like. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts. It's like a video games in real life.
AR? Was it AR?
Yeah,
or was it just...
yeah, like some sort of. And I'm like, dude.
Speaking of tablets and AR, the new iPad Pro has like a depth sensor around it called, I think, LIDAR sensor that's supposed to sense like its relationship to things that are proximity-wise close to it. It's supposed to help with AR stuff. So like that tech might be more and more feasible for consumers now.
But it also reminded me a lot of like video games, like like when
it's his HUD.
You clip, yeah, when you
getting shot and his tablet flashes.
Some of the stuff they were showing like remind me of a lot when you like clip through like in Counter-Strike you clip through if you're like you're messing around like we've done on some of the maps you've made.
Yeah.
Where you clip through and you can see like the outline of the map or like all the different tunnels that you don't normally see or whatnot, and like he did that for the entire city, and I'm like, that's insane. Like he's
like when you're playing Skyrim in VR and you just stick your head through a door.
Yeah, and you can see
the
everything
city on the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I kind of explained it bad, but I would highly recommend it if you're just. So it might be something good to have too in like the background if you're like working from home.
I gotta get back on the Disney Plus train because there was a show on there from National Geographic that I watched one episode and loved, and then I just never watched it again. And it was Gordon Ramsay's show on there called Uncharted.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I haven't watched an episode, but it is on my list.
The first episode was entertaining enough, and I like Gordon Ramsay. He's a very what do I want to say? Just
entertainer,
cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's someone that you would want to have a beer with, have a really nice meal with, or like he could fit many different molds. He seems like he would actually be interested in the things you would have to say, as opposed to some other maybe types of people you on shows that are similar. Now that show was definitely trying to be the next No Reservations kind of show with Anthony Bourdain. I believe he even says Anthony Bourdain's name in that first episode, saying, "Hey, this is for you," or something like that. And it's not that. No Reservations was a really freaking great show.
I always heard it was good, yeah. Because he died, right?
The dude is just really good. Oh, he committed suicide.
Oh, Jesus.
It sucks. Sucks ass. Because he was depressed. And he committed suicide. And he was such a great person that everyone loved. And he actually, I guess kind of like how I was describing Gordon Ramsay, he would sit there on the show and listen to people talk and explain their culture, the things they do, and he actually seemed like he was listening for real and concerned. And while I don't know what happened off camera, it seemed like he would actually offer money or something. He always seemed like he was invested, that he actually, Yeah. There's always in shows like that or Travel Channel kind of shows where oh, this, this nice white blonde lady is visiting all these places and all these different cultures, and at the end, like, oh, you're kind of like one of us now, and then she kind of gets on a plane back to her hotel, and they never see her again. But like, he always seemed like, no, he was actually being adopted into every single one of these cultures and places. Like, he was a great fucking dude. He was legit. We talked about food shows on a previous episode, and I forgot to mention him, how great of just a guy he was.
But yeah, I recommend that if you're just looking for, if you like archaeology,
if I ever
history.
get back on the Disney Plus train, I mean, the first thing I'm going to watch is Frozen 2. I almost posted a GIF from John Wick, having seen that movie recently, where someone asks, "Are you back?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back." In response to Frozen 2 coming to Disney Plus, I almost did that.
Bryn watched it. I didn't watch it.
How'd she like it?
She didn't mention it, so I don't know if that means good or bad. Like, I guess you could take that as like.
It just
fine.
kind of feels like it went away.
She did watch Avatar though, like James Cameron. I'm like, why? I saw that like it was listed as like previously watched, and I'm like, why'd you do that? She's like, I don't know.
Why would you do this to yourself? That movie's 11 years old.
I think it's like the second time we've shat on it.
The sequel is next year.
We've shat on that movie so many
times.
Fuck
that movie. God
all right.
Damn. Bloodshot.
Yeah, obviously. But speaking of, I mean, we were talking about last week how, the theaters are cutting down on seating, and now all the theaters are just straight up closing, as we kind of thought. I think last weekend's going to be
how employees are being treated in this. Are people being laid off?
I have no idea.
Are they getting paid?
Probably.
Sucks. Ass.
So yeah, if you work at a movie theater and you're listening to this, and I hope you weren't laid off, but I feel you. But yeah. So Bloodshot, I guess the only time to ever see this movie in theaters was last weekend.
Yeah.
Because now all the theaters are closed, and before we started recording, we found some conflicting information saying that it's coming out. Yeah, can you read it?
So I guess main topic for today, since last week, I know NBC Universal announced that 3 of its movies and then another of its upcoming movies were becoming really early to rent on digital services for $20. I believe the Quiet Man, not Quiet Man, that's a video game.
Invisible Man.
That sucks.
The Quiet
Invisible Man.
I remember that trailer though.
I thought that was a girl that was the main character. Turns out it was a dude. Invisible Man, Emma, and what was the other one? Doesn't matter.
Trolls 2.
No, that's the one that's coming day and date.
Trying to think of random movies.
No,
Antlers.
No.
That was I heard about a movie called Antlers.
The Hunt.
Something
the Hunt,
related to
Man and Emma.
antlers hunting. Same thing.
No, it was called The Hunt. Yeah. They're coming Friday, which was as of posting of this episode 2 days ago, to rent on iTunes, Amazon, and Vudu for $20 to rent.
It's a little pricey, by the way.
But they're also still in theaters, and this is.
But the theaters might not be open for.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. That's
I guess
the kind of thing about it, right? That's whatever. And of course, the cost of 2 movie tickets is going to be probably more than $20 unless you're a senior citizen and it's a Tuesday. Because I know AMC, Regal always does cheap Tuesday.
AMC does the same thing. It's $5 Tuesdays.
It's nice. So those we already knew about. Well, not since last week, but that was the first thing to happen. Now a bunch of new movies are coming to rent or own earlier than usual, and Bloodshot is one of them. None of these other movies have dates, except that they all say that they do, except that the actual studios and publishing houses haven't announced them, which is weird. Which, you mentioned there's conflicting information. Everywhere that you try to find this information, except from the official source, which is Sony Columbia Pictures, everywhere says that Bloodshot is coming on March 24th to own for $20 on the same services I mentioned earlier. Not rent, but actually own. The actual Sony statement does not mention that. I can read that in a second. But I guess it's assumed that it's going to come on March 24th, which is Tuesday, which is 2 days after this.
Maybe they're going to announce it like tomorrow. When was those articles that you saw? Were they like today?
They're all from today.
Maybe they're going to do it tomorrow morning. Usually, like companies,
we're recording on Thursday, by the way.
Usually, companies like make public statements. I feel like the morning, like if this was reported like this afternoon, they're not going to come out. No, they'll wait till tomorrow to write something nicer.
So, like today, Sony made this statement.
I would think
from their chairman, Tom Rothman. He says, "Sony Pictures is firmly committed to the theatrical exhibition, and we support windowing," which is to say that there's time between the theatrical release and the home release. He goes on to say, "This is a unique and exceedingly rare circumstance where theaters have been required to close nationwide for the greater good, and Bloodshot is abruptly unavailable in any medium. Audiences will now have the chance to own Bloodshot right away and see it at home, where we are all spending more time. We are confident that, like other businesses hit hard by the virus, movie theaters will bounce back strongly, and we will be there to support them." So obviously, that was Sony Pictures.
Oh, I got confused.
Tom
I
Rothman.
thought that was an article. So yeah,
No,
so
that was
never
the
mind.
full quote.
Ignore what I said earlier then.
That's the full quote from Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman of Columbia Pictures.
They just haven't tweeted it.
Right. This was just a press statement that was sent out.
Maybe
Obviously,
they'll do it
it's
this weekend.
There's
then, yeah.
nothing else really concrete in there so that they can weasel things around. But like obviously they're not going. So sorry, let me take a step back here. There's a lot of the coronavirus is affecting a lot of industries in the world right now, and a lot of ways in which some industries have always done things have the opportunity to see what it would be like if they didn't do it that way, which is a very vague way to say to specify a lot of things. But in the case of this, movies come out in theaters where they make far more money than they will on Blu-ray or DVD or renting.
Because that's the thing, yeah. Like they're already taking a loss here. They're probably just trying to. Can we get anything? Like, let's say me and you both separately
Bloodshot
buy it.
Made less than $10
only
million.
$40. Yeah.
On its opening weekend, so they make a lot more money in theaters than they do on home. And there is the fear that if we do day and date or really close, date to rent and buy, people won't go to the theater. They'll rent it for really cheap, or they'll get it for really cheap, or they'll all go to their friend's house who bought it for $20 or whatever, and then that's it, right? And then their movies will make less money. So there's always been this, window of time. And as some movies, some like indie films or like weird experimental kind of films will go day and date, or they will try really early, or like, as soon as you're done seeing the movie in theaters, your ticket can be redeemed at some point or something like that to give you a discount to buy the film or something like that.
Sundance Movie Festival movies will be on demand a month later.
Exactly. Well, those are also trying to gain more recognition than necessarily money. So
when these aren't. These are
right.
Bloodshot is made.
This is Hollywood.
Bloodshot was made to get money.
Exactly.
Is it going to get its money
Diesel
back? I don't know.
Get his money. It might. Who knows?
I don't know.
We're spending a lot of time at home, and we're all spending $20 bucks to
That's
see
the thing
Vin
is how
Diesel
many
punch
people
someone with glowing eyeballs. But yeah. So basically, what I was saying is this gives these studios in Hollywood an opportunity to see what it'd be like for their industry if they did release films really close to their theatrical releases. Now, granted, you can't see movies in theaters right now, so it is not exactly the same way. But what would it be like? Would these movies would Bloodshot make its $45 million back?
I don't know.
The way it is, who knows? It's also, I haven't watched any reviews for it, and obviously we haven't seen the movie itself, so we don't know the quality of it. But my guess, based off the idea of a Vin Diesel based action flick, that it's not really gonna do super well critically, and it might not make its money back. That's just my uneducated guess, completely uneducated.
I just think that I think a lot of movies are not gonna get and also
Birds of Prey didn't make any money at all.
I was gonna think that was the
negative money.
I was gonna say that movie was how much advertising, more than Bloodshot.
Oh my god!
I would say
sure.
more than Sonic. You could argue. So
it's hard for us to say that because we are in an echo chamber that was screaming Sonic the Hedgehog the movie for 11 months. So,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
I'm curious to see what this is like. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I want them to get money. I know we joked at the start of the episode of how capitalism is bad, but at the end of the day, I do want I like Vin Diesel, so I want the movie to do well. You know what I mean? I have that kind of appreciation for movies. I want movies to do well. If I go see a movie and it's good, and I know it's not going to be like Avengers big, in terms of a large audience, I'll tell people, be like, oh, you should go see this movie, in theaters, just support it. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? So I am kind of just sad at the same time, because to me, going to the theater is different than just watching this at home. You know what I mean? Imagine if you saw your favorite movie, let's say, you've probably seen a movie in theaters, and you're like, wow, it's one of my favorite movies. Imagine if you saw that at home. Would you have liked it as much? I don't know. Not everyone has the best sound system or best TV. Yeah. Those kind of factors. I think I've talked about on the show before how I think horror films rely a lot on sound, and if you have no good sound system, you're probably going to be like, this movie sucks. So, to me, there's something about going to a theater that's, to me, the entertainment part, but some people don't think that way. Some people go on sites to go find them illegally and call it a day. You know what I mean? So,
and how many of us out there in this world have children? Not us right now. But, it's harder to, even just, date night, going to see a movie, it's harder when you have kids. Than that, let alone seeing a movie.
This is probably easier, being like, oh, me and my wife want to watch Bloodshot tonight.
So when my kid screams bloody murder at the fact that her, I don't know, Cheerios spilled over or something like that, you know what I mean? It's not embarrassing me in a theater.
Or you can send your kids to bed, and you're like, oh, we're watching Bloodshot tonight. That's a lot easier than being like, okay, we gotta get a babysitter, or we have to have grandma come over while we go see Bloodshot on a Thursday night.
What are you gonna go see, Devin?
I'm seeing Bloodshot, Ethan.
Why are you saying it like you're the grandma?
We're both oldies.
Now, obviously, this isn't to say that theaters will die. They literally
no way.
There's
too much
let
money.
that happen.
No,
money-wise, but also, if we look about the way the Academy works with the Oscars, it needs to release in theaters. The Stupid Irishman released limitedly in theaters just so that it could be eligible for nominations at the Oscars, right?
I think they have to change that. There's going to be so many movies.
Well, the way, because here's, if
this goes on for a long time, this could...
How they describe it is if it does not release in theaters, then it is a home product, which means that it is television.
Gotcha.
So Netflix movies that never come to theaters,
they're going to change that
television.
Definition. They're going to change that definition in the next 5 years. There's no way.
Yes. I mean, the way, I think I've said it on the show before, but The Irishman is 3 hours long, and there's a pretty good spot to stop in between. There are some mini series that are 2 or 3 episodes, but they're long. Are they a series? Are they a movie? Are they something new? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the way, just we're going to be having these we're going to look back in 10 years and be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. It's so weird that the world was like that, It's kind of like how 10 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, we were like, oh, this is a great video game that that was a PSN game. That was an Xbox Live Arcade game. It's pretty cool for what it is. Now it's no, this is just a game. You know what I mean? So we're going to be looking at this kind of stuff differently too in 10 years.
I think, though, let's say all these movies that are currently in theaters that they couldn't postpone, because I know like Black Widow, all of them got postponed.
Some indefinitely.
Some indefinitely.
Disney is kind of like, we will wait and see. We don't.
Because they're going to get their money regardless.
I think they're looking at like, okay, 007, November. They said that Fast and Furious 9
next
year. Let's just hold off and see what's going on before we make any quick announcements like this. Because I guess in hindsight, it is a bit crazy that they're like in like day 2 of like quote unquote serious time with the virus, that they're like, okay, it's coming next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
13 months later.
Unless they just thought that
it's a little weird.
They might have thought that Disney was going to push back into to the time where they wanted to. They're like, well, we know they're not going to be in April of 2021.
Yeah, and that is the way Hollywood is now, and that's why
you
gotta all the Marvel fans are ready to murder Martin Scorsese because he dared criticize Marvel movies by saying,
but
hey,
that's what
they own the entire schedule for the next 5 years. You have to plan around these films.
My fear is with this is that we'll get a taste. Maybe some of these smaller movies will start just being. I don't like he said. Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey didn't do hot, but how much money did Bird Box make for Netflix? You know what I mean?
Netflix does not release any statistics.
Do we know that if it did well enough, and they keep doing these random like movies, and people say, "Oh, did you see that show on Netflix? Or did you see that movie on Netflix?" Whether or not it's good, like everyone was talking about Bird Box because it's fucking Netflix.
Everyone watched those shitty Adam Sandler movies on Netflix. He was like one of the highest paid actors for last year off of that alone. And to his credit, he made
Uncut Gems.
Forgot that movie, Uncut Gems. And he said if this movie, I don't know if he said if it does well or if he gets nominated or whatever, but he kind of threatened like, hey, if you guys don't respect me actually being serious and trying to make a good movie, and that movie was apparently amazing. I did not see it.
I haven't seen
it on
it
my
yet.
short list. It's on my short list.
Same.
he threatened, I will go back and make those shitty movies you all hate because they make me tons of money. This is me trying to be an artist right now.
Yeah, I'll give him some credit for that. So
because Netflix, they did admit that a view of a thing, whether it's an episode of a TV show or a movie, even counts when it's like 2 minutes. That counts. So like views are weird. You couple that with the fact that, going back to Adam Sandler movies, what was his cowboy film called? Like the Silly Six or something?
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
It was a play off the Magnificent Seven type of naming, just like how the
Seven
Hateful
Samurai, yeah, that kind of thing.
But it was a 6, whatever. That movie, when that came out, that was, I think, the first of his big deal with Netflix. It was the first of that, and so that was to autoplay after everything you watched on Netflix. So how many of those people let transfer over to the Adam Sandler movie, they bounce off after 1 minute, that counts as a view?
Yeah.
Does that
but I don't know how
affect,
Netflix makes its money. Like, how many people do they look at? How many people bought the membership right before Bird Box dropped or during Bird Box's release? Like, how do they know? That's my
because they do look at influxes, just like how HBO looks at influxes every single time there was a new season of Game of Thrones. They look and see like, okay, because they have said that our membership skyrocketed for for when Haunting on Hill House. They did a thing then too.
For those kind of series, mini-series / movies, if those keep like, if they're making money, we don't know, but if they are, let's say Bloodshot comes out for $20. Let's say it doesn't do hot. But what if Bloodshot just came to Netflix? You know what I mean? Would it make more money that way? I don't know.
Or less. Who knows? It could be lost in the scramble.
But that's what makes me scared in the big picture is if it does do well. I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm just scared of the fact that with how great Avengers is and all that, Marvel, Disney generally, since Disney owns everything, I'm worried that like if this, let's say this goes on for like 2 months, 3 months, very well could. Hopefully not.
Just have to come out digitally.
Or
they just get delayed forever.
Maybe theaters would start only becoming Disney theaters almost, where like you only have mainstream.
There's
no more like The Lighthouse, which I really loved. I saw in theaters. I really love that movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if those kind of movies, like, it didn't do amazing financially, but it wasn't trying to. But I'm like, would that movie have done better?
Baby.
Would that movie have been like done better on Netflix? If it just came on Netflix, boom, done. You know what I mean? I want to know.
Every dollar is a vote. Avengers is the president.
Yeah. That's one of my worry is with this all is like, who can financially postpone a movie? That's probably why Bloodshot wasn't even postponed, because they're like, look, we already put all the advertising into this smaller budget film. It already was coming out during this whole process. They're like, shit, we have to let it go. And now that it doesn't make any money, and now they're like, I guess we have to rent it digitally and just hope that enough people buy it to get our money back at least. But I don't know if it will. But then these kind of projects,
no money.
But then these kind of projects, I don't know if they're like in the future they're not going to make them.
I mean, for every Disney, there's an Annapurna or an A24 that's just like, this seems cool. Let's just fund this, and so they do. So like, I don't know. Like,
I'm slightly concerned. I'm not like Armageddon, like, and it's doomsday. It's the end of the world. We're never going to have movies in movie theaters again. I'm just worried that like this moment might give more leverage to like bigger. I'm saying Disney, Universal, maybe Paramount.
Well, quick aside, you mentioned you said Disney theaters, but you meant it as in the only things that would be in theaters are.
It would feel like it,
Disney movies,
more so than it already does. It already feels like that, but it'd be like
there was some conversation going on. Be like, well, okay, let's think about this for a second. You know, theaters. This is before all the theaters were closing. You know, theaters are struggling to make money, so they're going out of business. What if Disney bought them and then had their own theaters?
That's what I'm concerned. I've already been concerned about that.
I would feel like
this could do it, because let's say all these movie theaters aren't making any money.
That is some Roosevelt trust fund, trust busting or whatever type of stuff. So maybe not.
Well, I'm saying, let's say this goes on for 4 or 5 months.
So far.
Let's go, like so you're thinking of something different. I was thinking about like, like these movies are gonna just be like, with all this coronavirus stuff, let's just start putting them on digitally. Let's not even worry about it. So then when the movie theaters finally reopen, it's just only gonna be Disney left. Just by people, because these smaller studios can't afford to postpone the movies or whatnot. But you're thinking of something else where, like, what if these stay closed and the owners start selling the theaters because, we're probably running into a recession here. I think I saw a tweet today that says, like, the Bank of America financial person, big superficial title, said, we're definitely in a recession starting today. First day of spring.
Wow.
So there's a good chance they'll be in a recession.
First day of spring is in 2 days.
Is it? I thought it was today.
It's the 21st. It's always the 21st.
Is it? Whatever. Yeah. First couple days of spring.
Maybe I'm thinking about the solstices.
Whatever.
I apologize. You might actually be right.
Anyways, but my
hey,
worry
Siri,
is...
what's the first day of spring?
My worry is...
Spring began March 19th.
Oh,
all right. Well, fuck me.
My
apologize.
You're good. No, my fear is like what you said is like, let's say this goes on for a couple months and people who own these movie theaters might be like, you know what? I'm just going to sell. What if Disney would, you think anyone would stop Disney from coming in and being like, hey, we'll own your theater. We'll call it.
Devin, the world needs entertainment right now. People need places to spend their money and kickstart our economy again. We can't deny Disney the ability to restart our economy. We're just gonna have like, them
who's to say
own the means of production and distribution.
Who's to say the AMC theater we go to, after all, not saying AMC is much bigger, but let's say if it was like a smaller end theater, let's say if it was like one of those remember the Tinseltown there in Rochester? I don't think
that's still open.
Yeah, but let's say that they couldn't afford to, like, because they...
That's owned by Cinemark, by the way. But
all right, but let's say one of the, like, a smaller, not a mainstream of the big chains, but like one that's still popular, generally speaking, in its local area, but it doesn't have like a bigger entity keeping it afloat. Let's say it closes for 3 months, and you still got to pay the lease on that. You know what I mean? You still got to pay the property taxes and all that. They might be like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell. What if Disney comes in and just was like, I'll take that? What if AMC comes out and is like, shit, guys, we're not making any money. They do have a digital service that they've been doing for the last couple of months that I've noticed, and now they're just fully doing that since all their theaters are closed.
Yeah.
But who's to say, like, Disney probably has the money to buy AMC.
Oh, for sure.
That's
For
scary, yo. Like for entertainment,
they bought Fox.
I don't know.
They bought
That's my one
21st Century
concern.
Fox. It's insane.
That's my one concern with all of this is that we'll go into a recession, and the big companies will just do what they always do during times of need: is come and save the day. Oh, you like AMC? Well, we'll buy them. Not saying AMC is bankrupt or anything. I don't think they are, but I'm just using them as an example. But that's my main concern is that we'll either get a mix of, once this is all the dust is settled, all the movies that should have been in theaters, like Bloodshot, I'm sure I can't name any more on top of my head, but like any smaller ones that maybe we were interested in, just we'll never see theaters. And we'll have to come out digitally, won't make any money, and then we'll never get a sequel, or we'll never get maybe a TV series out of that. Like, what if Bloodshot is an amazing film, but no one watches it?
Yeah.
Because you have to pay $20 digitally. I think that what they should have done was been like, hey, Netflix. I don't know.
Well,
it's tough. I want to know so much more about the numbers. We'll only find out.
I know.
Probably
and we
years
might
from
never
now.
Know for some of this stuff.
So,
but why don't we go through the movies that have been confirmed to be releasing early on digital formats?
All right.
I've looked at a bunch of different lists from articles. They all say the same thing. I'm going to go with the one that's from the techhive.com. This isn't an endorsement. I know nothing about them, but it's transparency. This is where we're getting it from. I'll just read down the list here. This is in addition to The Invisible Man, from The Hunt, and Emma, and Trolls 2, or Trolls World Tour, I think it's called. Yeah. That's from Universal. Those were already announced. So we have Bloodshot, which apparently is the 24th. Who knows?
I'm hoping, because I feel so wrong not reviewing that movie for when we're doing a show. Well, when we're doing a show about Vin Diesel and we just haven't seen his most latest thing. I don't know.
Yep. We already talked about that. Birds of Prey, which Warner Brothers did say is coming out on the 24th, which is Tuesday, for $20 to buy on iTunes, Amazon, Vudu, etc. I'm actually going to do that. I don't know if I want to buy it, but like if I can't rent it,
if it's
who knows?
Even if it was a rent option, it'll be like
maybe we'll do a thing where you buy Bloodshot, I buy Birds of Prey, or vice versa, and we can see it together.
I was going to say, even if they did a renting thing, they always do it where it's like $16.99 or $20 to buy it, and every time I buy it, I did it with both the John Wick films.
Oh yeah, because I rented them. I talked about it last week. John Wick 2 was like $2 more to buy it.
I bought both of them. I bought John Wick 1 and John Wick 2.
I just rented it. Eventually, I'm going to buy a nice 4K steel book of them, and that's going to be the way it is. But Birds of Prey, Emma, which I already mentioned, is already out. It was the time you're listening to this. Frozen 2 is already on Disney+. The Hunt, already mentioned that on Friday. Invisible Man, already mentioned that. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, is... So it's weird the way they're doing this. They've been doing this film. I don't know if you've been paying attention to this. So they announced this big thing. I don't know if you heard about it, called Disney+, right? Disney's big solution to streaming. It's their one-stop shop. While they never outright said this is the only place you would be able to find their stuff digitally, at the very least, it seemed like it was going to be the only place you could stream it. You could rent it on Amazon, these movies, which they obviously still were up. And you can buy them digitally on places like Vudu and iTunes and Amazon Prime, right? But the only place you would just, as a one-stop shop, stream it, as a flat rate fee a month is Disney Plus, right? Mm-hmm. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, we saw it in December. Opinions on that film aside, I've been watching the rollout of this film in the months since, and it's like, okay, Best Buy is the first place you can buy it on Blu-ray. Okay, physical. You can now pre-order it on Vudu. Okay, this is like late January. Okay, February rolls around. It's like, and it's coming to iTunes. It's coming. I'm like, okay, wait. You didn't announce Disney Plus though. You're announcing all the places you can buy, and I understand like
they're trying to get
want those places to not feel valid. That sounds weird. Like, oh, these corporations need emotions and they need empathy. And that's not what I'm saying. But like, you need to treat these places as places you can get the film, right? I understand, like, there's marketing, there's deals.
Well, I also think they want to see if they can get $1 million worth of DVD sales. Cool,
Right.
and then drop it on Disney Plus 3 months later, and it's free. Quotes.
Inside baseball aside, from everywhere I've heard, and I'm not the type of tech nerd to actually notice these things, the best quality stream comes from Vudu. It's better than Amazon. It's better than Netflix. So, like, if you had the option of renting or buying a film on either Amazon Prime or Vudu, you kind of always go with Vudu. If you really care about, like, if you're watching this as in 4K HDR with Dolby Atmos or whatever, you know, where it's like 3D audio, you do it on Vudu unless you buy it, you know, physically, right? If you have a player that can play all those types of formats. So they've been doing that, and they never announced Disney Plus, and so I guess now it's coming. It's to buy, but then some places are saying, and now this article doesn't say it, but other things say, oh, it's also coming to Disney Plus early too, along with the places to rent it. Which is weird. I don't know if this is because of the coronavirus or if that was always the plan of, like, as soon as it's available digitally, it's available digitally everywhere. Their Vudu thing was like, it's early on Vudu. I understand that. But, like, generally, it's not like, oh, you can only buy the movie, you can only buy this video game at GameStop for 3 weeks, and then it's in Best Buy and Walmart or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, I'm
It's
sure
just,
there's some
you buy it everywhere. But, like,
marketing.
were they always going to
sales
release
thing.
it to rent and buy digitally on the same
feel
day?
like,
You
yeah.
could just get it on Disney Plus.
I feel like because
I
don't know.
have
I guess
I have
I'm
family
not
members.
surprised,
I have an aunt and uncle that have 3 kids, and they buy Blu-rays like crazy. I was over there for Christmas, and they got Avengers Endgame. They got freaking Dark Phoenix, that stinker of a movie. They bought it on Blu-ray, and a few other movies as
Someone's
well.
got
Like,
it.
people just do that. I think when you get stuck into a collection, not necessarily a collection, but like when DVDs were a thing, and I was old enough to when DVD really kind of hit, to be a part of that. Oh, we need to get everything on DVD. You know what I mean? People kind of hold on to that. I get it. Blu-ray, like, we're at the point now where a lot of our Blu-rays that we've had since 2008 should be replaced. I have Blu-rays for movies like The Prestige that open up saying, please wait, this needs to load, because early Blu-ray players were slow to read the discs.
Oh my god.
The PlayStation 3 is the best Blu-ray player besides our current 4K ones of its time, just like how the PlayStation 2 is the best DVD player, I think still, because early Blu-ray players would fail. Early Blu-ray players couldn't play 3D Blu-rays. The PS3, your launch day PS3, can play 3D Blu-rays. 4K is a different type of disc format that they do that the reader can't read unless you have the reader able to read it, which is more expensive. That's why, like, a 4K Blu-ray should technically be a different format than a regular Blu-ray, but 3D isn't, if that makes sense. Your player obviously needs to be updated to be able to look at that information and send it to your TV signal as this is a 3D thing, right? But yeah, like, early Blu-ray players can't play 3D films. PS3 could, right? Because it could receive updates, and Blu-rays, other Blu-ray players couldn't. But, like, old Blu-ray players were really slow, and so lots of early Blu-ray discs took into account, here's literally a loading screen with a loading bar to lead to the main menu of a Blu-ray. How big are these files? 5 gigs? You know what I mean? Which is crazy to think. 5, maybe 7 gigs for this, this 720p movie. People are replacing these discs, right? Our collections are kind of being replaced. DVDs are always going to be the same quality. The compression might be better and better, but does that help with, manufacturing? Not really. It's always DVD. Blu-ray is this weird evolving collection thing, and I think more and more people are just jumping off. I'm at the point now, which I never really collected Blu-rays, but I'm like, I'm going to buy, like, movies that I really like in some sort of collector's fashion, like a steelbook, or if I can get a super nice 4K HDR version, I'll get that.
Yeah, I got John Wick 3, the 4K / Blu-ray /
because eventually
digital.
you're going to get a PS5 or something that can play a 4K, or
I want to try it out.
An Xbox One S really cheap. I'm not a Sony pony, except I kind of am. Shout out to Xbox for actually allowing people to use it to play 4K Blu-rays, unlike our PS4 Pros. So digital is also this thing where, like, I went through a brief phase where I'm like, I'm gonna have Amazon Prime be my collection of movies and TV shows.
I already have a couple.
Look at that.
I have
where I'm like,
I have It, which I probably will never watch again. The two John Wick films, first two. And then The Evil Dead, the original one, because I couldn't rent it.
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. He likes what's his name. Puts him in every single movie of his. He's in all 3 Spider-Mans.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Is his name Bruce, or is that Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, yes. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was on the tip of my tongue. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, Antlers, I did look it up. I'm not crazy. It is a film. It's actually produced by Guillermo del Toro, director Scott Cooper. So I think that also got delayed along with
Probably
with Milan, because it says April 17th, but I think it got delayed.
Yeah, we're in such an early phase of this coronavirus.
I mean, I'm hoping it's done in 2 weeks, but I don't know anymore, man. The way
to what I've heard, SARS, which we're young, again, we're 25 years old. We don't remember SARS. We only have heard about SARS. It kind of just disappeared. Like, it was kind of like done.
Well, I saw like China's getting its second wave of like, because like it went away. They got the big outbreak, right? Like majority of people got it. And then, okay, everyone's starting to return back to normalcy. And then all the people who didn't get it are now getting it later on. It's just not as significant, but they're still getting it. So that's probably what's going to happen. It's like, I don't think it's going to be like, it'll never be over until we get a vaccine. And even then, there's no guarantee either.
Well, like, didn't we finally get an Ebola vaccine like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it takes years. I was reading saw this tweet chain about it where it was like, even if we already had the vaccine, it has to do a certain amount of human trials for it to be put on the market.
We can't just start sending something we don't know really what it does and
inject
it into people.
Yeah, because even if the trial works, they have to wait a couple of years to see if there's any long-term effects. Like, you don't want to cause, we also messed up your white blood cells from this long-term.
And 33% of our tests after 2 years, they go blind. You know?
Yeah. So I think most of us are going to get it, and I think I'm like mentally preparing myself that like when it happens, if I do get it.
I mean, I come in contact with far more people than you do right now.
Yeah. Oh, so my girlfriend also works at probably a high area, a petri dish place. So I mean,
that's a good way to describe a nice humid.
I went to a GameStop 4
people.
days ago. All right, and with what they've been saying, now I'm concerned that my.
You hear that GameStop considers itself an important.
Yeah,
business,
that's what I'm saying. Is
staple.
And I've heard because Inside Gaming, they did like some of their own. Like usually they talk about like main stories that a lot of other people are talking about. They did their own like journalism stuff where they like interviewed GameStop employees, asked like how they're keeping it clean and whatnot, and they said that like GameStop hasn't really given much of anything.
Dude, some GameStops are literally telling their employees to buy their own cleaning supplies.
It's insane. But like I bought a controller there, and now I'm like, who knows, man? I probably already have it in me. The price of gaming.
Dude, I bought when the Switch came out. I went to a GameStop in the mall in Rochester, and I bought a case. It's the same case that I knew David was getting or had. It's a nice case. It's the case I have now. It wasn't the case I walked away at that store was. Is I put the box on the counter. So this is the case I want. He went in the back, rang me up, put it in the bag. I didn't look at it until I got in the car. Realized it was a Mario Kart case. I'm like, this is not what I wanted. But I'm already home, and I had to go return it the next day. And would you believe it or not? I returned it to the manager. Didn't ask for her. She was there, and the dude was standing next to her. And I was like, "Yeah, the guy that rang me up yesterday gave me the wrong one. Can I just swap it out, or do you have this one here?" But yeah, GameStop is they're not a dying business because they will bounce back, but they're definitely in a lot of trials, and I mean they basically signed on 3 advisors to meet like once a quarter just to say a few things. Like everyone's jumping up and be like, "Oh, Reggie Fils-Aimé, who was the president of Nintendo of America before he retired, he's gonna save GameStop." The dude talks to them like 4 times a year and gives his opinions. That's all he is. That's like a thing he can do while retired. You know, it's not.
Yeah,
They're in such a weird spot.
I try to keep them afloat by buying that membership somehow.
I love physical games,
and I love physical games too.
Supporter of physical.
But I think
games.
it's because we're older, like not old, but like a lot of people. Like I think we have we care about video games more than a lot of people are just buying digital because it's convenient. Like I feel like most people buy it.
And these games will disappear. These games will disappear if you buy them digitally. Even like, I'm not even talking about. Like, oh, there's the Fortnites of the world, and there's Destiny 2, right? These are online games that have in-the-moment things, right? That can't be replaced even the next day, right? Let alone when they finally shut the servers off.
Yeah.
But there are games like, I mentioned I platinumed BioShock earlier
we
today.
should wrap this up in the next 5 or later.
Yeah, sure. That's a single-player game through and through. If you buy it digitally, you can download it on your PlayStation or Xbox or PC or whatever. Cool. If they shut off some sort of server, I guess, that to get it on their end, you still own it if you have it on your thing. But what you bought was still just a license to play it until they say you don't get to. Even if you buy it. Not just renting. So, like, digital to me is always iffy. I don't think anyone would ever go to the extreme, except maybe Konami from 5 years ago, of being like, you no longer have this game you bought that has nothing to do with any sort of servers or anything like that. So that's why I kind of like doing physical.
I like seeing it. It's like that old analog,
yeah,
nostalgia that I like.
We like collecting things.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people don't. If they have kids, they don't have to worry about breaking it if it's digital. So
yeah. We're living in history, man. I mean, if you look at...
Dude, every day is history. As a historian, I tell you this, right?
In 1 year, we're going to look at
we'll be in a museum.
The evolution of this coronavirus thing. And we're going to see things in hindsight that have
we'll
already
be on a
happened
documentary
right now or later. But, like, the way that we are looking at this story, the way that we're talking about these things, the way we're feeling what we're doing right now is of the knowledge we have at the moment, and we have no idea what happens next. It's scary, exciting, whatever. Like, this is like, I don't know, soak it all in.
Yeah.
Like, again, 1 week ago, Bloodshot came out. And now you're going to have to buy it because you can't see it. And these are last-minute changes. Theaters are closing that 3 days ago announced that they were going to do 50% of their seats removed or whatever. Like, that was their strategy. Nope, now they're closed, you know. We're changing all the time. We might be getting checks in the mail. You know what I mean?
We all could be.
Who knows?
We all could be laid off in
Who
2
knows?
weeks. Anything's possible right now, and that's what's
Yeah.
scary and whatnot. But I was joking
So,
how I said, write stuff down. Every day is history. I'm not even joking. Actually, write stuff down because as a history major, one thing that historians are always worried about with digital. Speaking of digital stuff, is that if that digital space ever gets deleted, like you said, or if the internet just, let's say like asteroids hit the Earth and just wipes out everything, there's not going to be no more internet. You know what I mean? That's just going to be gone
Right.
unless there might be some stuff like what I know
it
there's.
would be like how many people have downloaded it, and you're going to be able to find it. It's almost like
I'm saying more just like
you
there's
could
a lot
argue
of,
like, okay, a lot of Hollywood from last century, we don't have the films anymore because they were on physical film that they had to get rid of for space.
I know. I'm saying
Things they got rid of aren't really all that important.
No, I'm saying
You
like
could argue maybe it's okay.
a lot of like I'm saying a lot of like smaller stuff like our show. Those kind of things are gonna be like would probably be lost.
hyper important.
Hyper important.
Hey man, I have them all downloaded on my hard drive.
Yeah, but I'm saying if that hard drive gets destroyed, that's it, right? But like at the same time, do write stuff down. Like because maybe your journal will be in a museum one
I'll
day.
I'll go to a place that can custom make me vinyl records based off a recording I give them. So I'll make a vinyl of all of our Sonic movie.
Yeah, I'm
show
not saying
episodes.
don't maybe even write something online. There's pros and cons to both, but like write something down even right now.
Make an audio tape of yourself that doesn't make any sense about your life. Make it a physical version, nail it to your wall,
and also have a digital version. So one of them will survive, hopefully.
Yep.
But no, I'm not even joking. Like you were just saying, like we're living in a weird time where like news is happening every day. We don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Right.
People are getting
We're
sick.
doing our classic millennial thing about making fun of our lives and how much everything sucks.
But no, for like historical reasons, like even this show is technically part of history now. That's crazy. We're talking about how we're feeling. So yeah, write shit down, man. And people, if you're sad, I get it.
Don't be sad, get glad.
Yeah, get glad. No, hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast and you're maybe down about the coronavirus, hopefully distracts you for an hour. That's how I look at entertainment. Distractions.
These kind of distractions happen every week on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and YouTube. You can, search the Sonic Movie Show on any place that will redirect you to those places, and that's how you can find us. And when you're done listening to episodes such as this one, why don't you give us a 5-star review, man? Give us that iTunes 5-star. Give us that Google 5-star. Give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Write us a little comment. And last week we asked, are you still going to go to a theater? You don't need your answers now. The answer is no. So I guess that's it, right? But are you going to be... does this idea of paying $20, not the idea of movies that are in theaters you can rent.
Let's say the new Star Wars
literal
movie.
idea
Let's say
of
a new Star Wars
$20.
movie came out like right now, but then it got postponed. They're like, oh, well, you could pay $20 for it. Will you watch it?
Even that.
Your favorite
I just mean,
franchise, I'm saying. Would you pay $20?
Let's say theaters are still open right now, and you can see Bloodshot in theaters or pay $20 to buy it digitally. Is that something you would do for $20? Not $4, as some people would be like, oh yeah, for $4, Is this the idea of a $20, you buy a movie that's in theaters, theoretically.
And you have it forever.
Still, yeah, obviously. Is that something that excites you? Let us know right in the comments. When you're done writing in those comments, go get on Twitter. Follow the show at Sonic Movie Show. Follow me on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Follow Devin on Twitter. His username is at CURSONA YouTube, Cursona YouTube. And, just say hi, I guess. Say something mean so that you get reported by someone else. Not really.
Don't do that.
Next week, we will most likely have our review of Bloodshot up.
If March 24th
if it comes out,
if
and we don't get coronavirus, if one of us gets coronavirus, I'm sorry, we're not doing it. At least not buying the movie and it's one deal. And
I don't know if we'll record, depending on how rough.
You can't get coronavirus through a microphone, though.
No, I'm saying like if one of us can't speak physically, like I'm saying if one of us is deathly ill,
the show must go on until the time
you're going to hear me on a heart monitor in the hospital. The ventilator running.
We'll see you next week. Hug your loved ones.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Cough in their faces.